Hi, I'm Christopher, a research software engineer with Research Software Workshops, and it's a very warm welcome to Introducing Version Control with Git, Part 5. In this case, we're now going to be learning how to add files to be version controlled. The link to the material is at the bottom of this page, and if you go to the Adding Files to be Version Controlled section, you should find a page that looks something like this. Now we're going to be working at our terminal window, and we're already now within the versioned dir directory, which if we type ls, we should find that it is empty. Now, Git is designed to version control the files that are within a directory, so it will version control everything within a directory and indeed within subdirectories of this directory. Now at the moment we have nothing within our directory, so we first need to start by creating a file which could actually be version controlled. We're going to create a file called readme.md. We're going to create it using your text editor. So I'm using nano, and so to create a file using nano, we type the command nano and then the name of the file we want to create. So in this case, readme.md. If I now hit return, I'm just going to explain how nano works. When you type, text goes into the file. So this is me typing stuff into the file. At the bottom of the page, you have instructions of how to use nano, where this little like hat sign, that sign means the control key. So if we wanted to exit, I would do Control and X. It would then say, would I like to save the buffer? So save the contents of the file. Y for yes, N for no. So if I press Y, and it will then say, is this the name of the file you want to save? Yes, we do. It's called readme.md. If I hit return now, it's now saved the file. If I type ls, we can now see that this file has been created. And if I type nano readme.md again, I can now edit and work with the file again. Now in this case, I'm going to put into this file the text which we have here on the workshop material. So I'm not going to type it out because it'd be boring to watch me type. So I'm just going to copy and paste it here into nano. So we've got hello world. This is a text file that we're going to add to Git. We will use Git to record all of the versions of this file, letting us move backward and forward through time. For example, in this first version of the file, we will say that the cat goes woof. To save this, I will do Control and X. Y, yes, I do want to save it. And I am saving this as readme.md. And if I press ls and hit return, the command line, I've typed ls and we can see, yes, readme.md exists. I'm going to press Control and L now, which will clear my screen, just so it's clear for us moving forwards. Now this has now added the file, and we're now at this stage in the notes, getting the status of the directory. Now Git monitors the status of files that are within our version control directory. We can ask Git to print the current status using the next Git command. We're going to use my personal favorite Git command, which is git status. This is the one I type the most. When we type this command and hit return, you should see something similar to this printed. And don't worry, sometimes you'll have things with colours, depends on your computer. Mine does colour, but if it's not coloured, don't worry, it might come out just as white. Now in this case, it's saying there are no commits yet. A commit is a version that's being saved. And it said here that we have a new file in this directory that's listed as being untracked. Readme.md is an untracked file. Now by default, Git will not track the versions of new files. So it will not try and save the versions of files by default. Git will only save the versions of files that it tracks. So we now need to tell Git that we would like to track readme.md. Now Git very helpfully tells us in the output how we can tell Git to track this file. You can see you type git add and the name of the file. So if we want to track readme.md, it is git add readme.md. Nothing is printed, but if I type git status again, you can now see it's changed. We see there is now a change to be committed, and Git has recognized there is now a new file called readme.md. Okay, we've now got to this point. I've worked you through the status, and now we have two more Git commands that we can add to our cheat sheet. There are only 10, we're moving through these very quickly. So we started with git init, which was how we told Git to start version controlling the files within a directory. It initialized Git in that directory. We've now seen git status. Git status tells Git to print the status of the files in our version control directory. What's happened in this directory is what we're saying to Git. And then our third command is git add. Git add tells Git to start monitoring or tracking the versions of a new file. So git add readme.md is how we have told Git that it now needs to track the versions of our new file readme.md. Okay, that's the end of this part. I look forward to seeing you in the next part of this workshop.